Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Fear the Old Lord, Fear the Old Lore stream of Elden Ring Unpatched, version 1.00. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Yesterday we left off going through pretty much everything with the round table hold, and we cleared through Castle Morn and did the first part of Irina, Hyetta, and Edgar's quest. So today we're going to continue where we left off, just with going through a few things in Weeping Peninsula, and I'll need to remember to go talk to Bach because I keep forgetting, I guess. So, at the very end of the stream yesterday, I pointed out this ghost being a little different from what we find in the retail version of the patch. So, just as a little bit of a treat, we'll go ahead and start it off with this guy again. So, Mortis, Mercy, nice to see both of you again. Oh. The mausoleum prowls, cradling failed champions within. Oops. O America, Queen Eternal, it cradles a misshapen bastard of yours. So, this ghost is really fascinating because he's the one that will say, like, the mausoleums cradle soulless demigods and that they're America's bastards in the retail build or something like that. I should have double-checked the Japanese. I think it was pretty close because I know like a lot of people asked me about this guy in particular just because the situation with the soulless demigods has always been a bit of a head-scratcher. In between the time of last night's stream and today, I tried to do a little bit of research into whether or not like Godwin is the first canonical dead demigod, and my research is a little bit inconclusive on a couple fronts. So I know that sounds a little bit more or a little less believable than you might think, but one question that I'm kind of coming up with right now is if the term used for Godwin being dead is a more specific term than kind of how it sounds in English. So in Dark Souls, for example, the Hollows are sort of dead, but not, and they're called Moja. And Nito, more specifically, is called the First of the Dead, and he's called the Shisha, which is, you know, like literally dead person. Those are the characters. Shi for death and Sha for, like, person. So even though Nito is dead, he's still, like, animate and moving around. So I wonder if that's, like, a special kind of state of being for a person in Lordran, compared to like Elden Ring having a new First of the Dead with Godwin. I wonder if his form of death is different from other forms. And one question that I have in particular is whether or not soulless beings are actually able to be considered dead. So that was my initial like thought process going into this as I was like trying to look at like the differing terms between the text in both languages, but it was a little bit inconclusive and I don't know if there's actually meant to be a difference. And I think so far from like what I found, the curse mark of death kind of disagrees in that Shisha should be its own thing because it does say like the first of the dead demigods. So, at least kind of in Japanese. I don't remember what it says in English. So, much ado about nothing, I guess. We'll try to continue to suss through what information we have. So, I do think, like, historically, Godwin could be the first dead demigod. But that just does tie back into, like, this ghost dialogue with, like, all of the, Wandering Mausoleum soulless demigods, and whether or not like they're alive or dead, I guess, is kind of like one of the lingering questions I have. So in this version of the game, he calls them failed champions rather than like demigods. But then again, like as we were mentioning a bit yesterday, like the way that they use demigod could be a little bit loose in terms of its definition, I guess. Right, so Mortis said, you were watching my video on gold and silver and the way I described the puppets was oddly similar to how the Taken work. Hollowed out beings who had their wills hollowed out and are summoned. Oh, like in Destiny, those Taken. Tanner Prosberg, nice to see you again. It's been a while. Yeah, it's going pretty well. Having a blast going through 1.00, talking the lore and sharing things with everyone. Spoonbender, welcome in. Yeah. Is no Nito's not called the first undead. He's called the first of the dead. It is different from like the hollows and whatnot. And also welcome in. I don't remember if I said that. Vacuous Hellet, nice to see you. Do you think there's hope for the Golden Order, or will the world stagnate if it continues? So that might partially depend on your ending. Like you might be able to make the argument that if Gold Mask and his mending rune get implemented into the order, it might work well enough that it wouldn't be stagnated. But I also can't exactly see how it wouldn't be stagnation, because it would just be like perfecting the Golden Order, which keeps things locked where they are. I don't know. So yeah, his ending is one of the most confusing to me. So before going into the Everjail, I'll go into the next church, pick up the flask tier thing, and then I'll go see Bach before I forget for like the 5th time. You've been spamming Guardian games. I feel that. Actually, I don't feel that. I haven't played in probably like over a week now. Doing this stream and trying to release shorts is definitely pushing me a little thin on that front. So get the flask tier. So yeah, especially with our second most important item being the golden poop saying things stay as they are, I just can't imagine a kind of golden order that's not in some kind of stasis. So yeah, before I forget, this is the 4th Church of America, because it's even further south. The 3rd one is in Limgrave. And I do think that there's a kind of progression in the way that the churches are numbered. So I don't have the full map, obviously. But the first Church of America starts in the mountaintop of Giants. The second one comes down to Altus Plateau to the west of Leyndell. The third one like skips the Limgrave area and can be found between what's it called? It can be found between like Caelid and Stormvale, and then it just kind of goes straight south to the Weeping Peninsula. So I think that might have been like the campaign that Marika and Godfrey would have taken through the lands between. They would have dealt with the Giants first, made their base in Leyndell probably. I don't exactly know what Godfrey's deal is during the time of the Liurnian Civil War, because like Radigan is sent to clean that up. And if we believe Muriel, Radigan did coexist briefly with Godfrey because Godfrey was hounded from the lands between when Radigan returned to Leyndell. So, with that being said, there is a kind of monument next to the smoldering church that says like this is the end of Godfrey's campaign, which has always been a bit weird to me, because if they came south and like the last churches came down here, and we have the one monument that doesn't have any text in this version of the game that said like Godfrey fought the last guy here, it's weird to me that he would go back up to potentially finish off his last worthy foe in the middle of nowhere. So maybe Fair Missoula was up here at some point because like all the ruins just fell, but I don't really know. So I do have doubts as to like the authenticity of the authorship of the monuments, because it's really easy to like use that kind of thing as like a propaganda for a historical point of view or like a religion, which they seem to be comfortable doing in the lands between. Yeah, and as Vacuous Zealot says, there is a theme in these games that something beautiful is revealed to be the worst thing imaginable. Yeah, that's pretty well said, I think. Oh, I almost forgot to go see Bach. Okay. So we saw Bach down in the coastal cave, and so he should pop back up here like to where we first found him, since we gave him the things that he needed. where is he? That is the nice thing about like the updated version of the game, that it does show you like the NPC locations. Oh yeah, it's to the right of that guy. I always think that the one bonfire or side of grace that I go to is further east than it actually is. East? Is Bach not here? We got some roly-poly rams. He should be like right here, right? Yeah. Alright, so I guess Bach isn't going back to where he should. So I guess the next place we'd meet him is potentially in Liurnia. Let me check the cave one more time, because I'm pretty sure he poofed out of there. Alright, yeah. Unless you guys saw him and I'm being blind. Actually, what? Is it night? Let me double check. Oh, it's kind of like the end of night. There should be like a death bird in this area as well, although it's like further north. I don't remember if I can just get to it really quickly. I wasn't going to fight it, but I just thought of it. So, yeah. Part of the tribe, welcome in. Teen Seth, nice to see you again. Alright. So, I do like how there's like the random ass lightning strikes and how they like kind of produce Fulgur Bloom. This has made me wonder whether or not like the land got imbued with gold through lightning or something along those lines, but I don't really have like super strong opinions about that. When I first saw those lightning strikes, like I thought for sure that would be like a way to like summon dragons or something, because they're so like deliberately placed in some ways, but they don't. Alright, they don't really amount to much. I'm trying to roll under it, and I'm getting rammed. Just need to finish this guy off before dawn. Oh, that kind of screwed up its grab attack thing. I tried rolling. That one I did not roll. I hear the bats. That's scaring me. I have no stamina. Oh. I was like, what hit me? Did it take fall damage from that? Where is our Deathbird friend? Oh, there he is. The Fulgur Bloom is in fixed spots. Yeah, the Fulgur Bloom only shows up where the lightning is. Hopefully I don't aggro the entire world trying to deal with this thing. Actually, I wonder if the troll would hit it. It doesn't seem to be able to hit the troll, though. Alright, let's just kite it this way. I'm trying to remember what this guy even drops. And because this is not a death right bird, it doesn't really have like the hex magic that accompanies the other ones. I wonder if this isn't bleedable in this version. Like, I know I don't have a ton of bleed on my weapon, but... Oh yeah, I do have the new weapon art. I should be using that. Okay. Blue Feathered Branch Sword. This is a talisman adorned with blue feathers, once used in ancient death rituals. Raises defense when HP is low. The heart sings when one draws close to death, and a glorious death awaits those who cling so tenaciously to life. That's... I think that description is pretty important because it kind of helps set the tone for how I think certain curses, like the ones found in like Rykard's Rancor Call, work. In that, when something gets close to dying, its emotions kind of run wild to the point that it can become a curse. Wait, wasn't this just called Coastal Cave? But now it's Dragon Pass? Dragon Path? Oh, it's different between this one and the, like, in-game text. Oh, wait, it changes even there. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, and no more Bach. So, Bach, be gone. Welcome in, Rat. How you doing? You don't think any Deathbird type is bleedable? You might be right. And maybe I just, like, made them get frostbitten? So, alright. Let's go back to the Everjail. Vacua says, perfect order and all things can be conjoined are quotes that have an extremely sinister undertone to it. Yeah, especially if you consider, like, the way Godric tries to make things conjoined. Maybe taking that a bit too literally. Oh yeah, and we do have the painting, so maybe I should turn those in sometime. Actually, they might be broken. Oh, I forgot you actually need one of the imp things for this. Do I even have any? If I do, I kind of want to save them for the blessing. I have one. Whichever jail is this? It doesn't say. Anyway, okay, I'll just leave that one alone for now. I'll go see the Wandering Mausoleum. And I'll try to kill some of the soldiers. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a drop with some good lore, but... Giant Deathroot Worm dude is bleedable? You mean like the worm faces? Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are bleedable. It's kind of slow with this. I should have just kept it attacking. I got. Oh! I don't even think I've really seen them grab too many times. Right, yeah, we heal a lot more now with our flasks. Isn't this one supposed to be stepping around? It's a little bit creepy. Panda says, 1.0 must feel odd they buff the speed of so many great weapons and other weapon skills. Yeah. At late night they sleep? Do they? How do I feel like I haven't seen it like this, though? Or is it, like, specifically, like, late night, as it says on the thing? Well, I should have, like, just turned to morning, and it's... Oh, yeah, I guess I should have pointed out, like, the things that I was hitting on it are skulls, and, like, the white blackish mist comes out of them that's kind of, like, reminiscent of Rancor Call, which is a little bit weird. And in 1.0, there is... Wait, let me... Maybe there is. Maybe I just had the tutorials off. In 1.0, I'm pretty sure there is no, like, text that pops up that tells you how this actually works. I also don't have a remembrance. No, I do. I did kill Godric. Okay. Yeah, so there is no, like, first time text telling us what to do. So we can do Godric's rune, but we won't because we don't need to. Oh yeah, and also in this version of the game, you can use the like little dragon that he has and like buff it to work with like any other weapon that's in your other hand, I think. So the flames on the dragon will take on the property of the weapon in your other hand. So you can make it like a super scarlet rot one or maybe even bleed. I don't exactly remember how that works. Maybe that'll be worth like messing around with on here. All right. So as we come into the mausoleum, we get some more of like the sword saint statues. The corpse of this guy might be reminiscent of an alabaster or an onyx lord. I think there are like two variants of this, one that's more light-skinned and another that is dark-skinned. And as I've pointed out in my videos before, the design of the Nox mausoleums... Well, sorry, I blew it. The design of these mausoleums are of Nox architecture. So these chests can show up in like Nokron and all that. Magister Ludi, welcome back to the stream. And Xavier, welcome back. So it is late night specifically? Okay. Maybe the skulls are the heads of the mausoleum knights? That's an interesting theory. Do you think the mobile mausoleums are meant to avoid the roots of the Erd tree? That is one thing that I've wondered, because they, you know, with them like walking around and being above ground, they would kind of avoid the roots of the Erd trees. But I don't really know, because like the catacombs underground like have, it almost seems like the skeletons are like rising into the sky in some of them. So maybe just being mobile would be good enough. So I showed that up. Oh yeah, let's go see the isolated merchant, and then we'll probably take the tower up before heading to the minor Erd tree. So we got Fulgur Bloom, which I haven't read. This is a yellow flower that grows in lightning-struck lands, imbued with traces of lightning's essence. I don't know if the bell-bearing hunters still appear in this version of the game, just because we have the one appearing in Stormvale. He might have an appearance elsewhere as well, but I didn't explore absolutely everything in this.
Well, there's been an age since I've seen a customer. How can I help here at the end of the earth?
So we get our lantern. I definitely want that. Oh, can't afford the stone sword key now. Trina's lily, Trina's arrow, ballista bolt, which is infinite in supply. That's really cool. And the grave robber's knowledge mausoleum. So this one calls it grave robber in this. I'm pretty sure this is different in retail.
Have a safe journey.
Oops. Okay. The bell on the mausoleum seems like a possible Sunrealm connection. Please, Sunrealm DLC. Maybe. I don't remember if the Sunrealm really has like a ton of that within it. There's also the potential that the bells on the mausoleums are like what summon the spirits of the knights. And I don't like fully believe that, because obviously the one that we just had didn't have a bell on it, and there were still like the headless soldiers nearby. However, if you consider like our wraith summoning bell is a bell, that there might be a kind of relation with that. And bells have been used in FromSoft games in the past to like be associated with summoning spirits. My good God. Oops, I did not try to do that second swing. It just got buffered. So the bleed proc seems pretty decent on that so far. So yeah, I'm just going to assume that the death birds can be bled. Coming into these kind of dilapidated watchtowers, you will find like a bunch of the Banished Knight weapons and like shields. So I do think it's possible, like, if the Banished Knights were the soldiers of the Stormlord, that the Stormlord could have been like in control of most of the world before America and whatnot. Because these buildings are just kind of older than what you'd find in Landell and all that, as I've been saying quite a bit throughout the streams. Right. This will poof us on over to Landell. Teen Sith says, the mausoleums actually structurally match the Carrion Study Hall and Divine Bridge area of the fortified manor, but have been given a Nox paint job. You can put your screen caps on the Discord. Okay, I'd be interested in that. Well, to be fair, in Nox Stella, there are also like the saint statues there. So yeah, speaking of like the saint statues and everything, when you come into Landell, and as Teen Sith was just talking about, the Divine Bridge area off the fortified manor, with that being like a reference to the Round Table Hold, this is that. So I'm trying to remember if the golem was here or not. Okay, that one still is. So maybe it's like the treasure's gone, if I'm like remembering correctly. I feel like I couldn't actually get to the isolated Divine Tower because like this was messed up or something. I got kind of lucky with that. Although I did like no damage. Alright, charged R2 seemed to work. Zunk Scoob. I do like no damage. But who needs damage when you can stagger? There we go. Yeah, and he doesn't really drop anything, just experience. So this should connect to the isolated Divine Tower. I think it should connect no matter what. And I think that's the issue with this. And maybe the chest is still there and still has an item. We'll see if it just disappears. Okay. Blessed Dew Talisman. Oh, that's a good one. This is a talisman depicting a drop of the Erd Tree's sap, a blessed boon. Gradually restores HP. It was once thought that the blessed sap of the Erd Tree would drip from its boughs forever, but that age of plenty was short-lived, and the Erd Tree became merely an object of faith. So this is the one item which I think makes it pretty clear that the Age of Plenty is related to Godfrey's time, because like the Crystal Tears and whatnot talk about Godfrey specifically and the sap That'd be key items. Okay, so probably the flask then? Or no, I'm just thinking of the actual like amber medallions. So the other talisman. The Erd Tree's old sap becomes amber, treasured as the most precious of jewels in the age of Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. The primordial life energy resides inside. So if I remember correctly, the primordial here is kind of like the same primordial of the Crucible. Obviously in English that's the same, but I'm pretty sure it's also like the case in Japanese. But I might be misremembering, to be fair. Alright, Teen Seth was saying, oh, like the lead up to the Forbidden Lands is what matches the Karian Study Hall and the Divine Bridge. Alright. So this is Leyndell, like the first time you can access it. If you can connect online, you could potentially try to get like some PvP folk in here to get summoned into your world and flip the lever down there so you can skip going through like the outer wall area and needing to kill a certain amount of demigods. And so you can go fight Morgott early and go to like the Forbidden Lands, but I don't know if there's a way to cheese that in this version of the game, so right now this is kind of a dead end. I did try like jumping down onto like that like tower kind of down there before, but no matter what happens, there's a kill floor, so you can make the jump very barely, but it'll just kill you still. So this provides us like one of the better advantages of the wall behind the first like main gate into Leyndell, which is very interesting because the gate that like the trolls and whatnot are sieging in the one like intro cinematic leads to what looks to be like an empty pit. I know this has caused a tarnished archaeologist to theorize that this section of Leyndell was like forced underground, and it could be why the nameless eternal city is down there. It could have been part of Leyndell. I don't know how I feel about that theory. I mean, I like it. It makes a decent amount of sense, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's just kind of a coincidence with the way FromSoft writes their games sometimes. We talked about this in the Discord like a month or so ago, but I also released a short about it today that the term like banished used in like the Nox armor sets really just means that the Nox were defeated and they weren't necessarily like literally banished underground by the greater will, which is a bit of a large difference depending on like how you want to take the idea of the Nox being banished underground. So with that being said, we do have a couple Nox monks like in Celia, so not all of the Nox were underground. We do know that Celia is related to the Nox, so do with that information as you will. Oh. Trent died so many times your first playthrough trying to go down there. Understandable. Welcome in, Play Capenda. Nice to see you again. Hopefully my stream didn't die in the middle of that monologue. Thoughts on Miquella's cut dialogue? Trying to remember Miquella's cut dialogue specifically. Is that the one where he just talks about abundance and like creating the world based on it? I think it was really interesting, and I think it really provides a lot of useful context to kind of understanding the Scarlet Rot. So I do think it's unfortunate that it got cut, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it gets like somehow repurposed into the DLC, especially like with the promotional image that came along with the DLC with potentially Miquella on torrent. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a octopus head. Why is it glowing here? Oh. One of the things that I really like about the land octopi are that like you can cut off their tentacles. Like parts of them rather. And I really wish Elden Ring had more of those kind of interactions in the game. And that's like one thing that I'll definitely give an advantage to Bloodborne over in terms of its combat. Is that really big enemies are difficult to deal with in this game if you're like on a strength build. Because they don't have like breakable limbs. So if you're using like ice or bleed, they're not that bad. But they can be pretty awful on just like pure strength and or faith. So I was hoping to get like an octopus helmet. No such luck. I know we picked up some greaves. I'm pretty sure those are pretty nondescript though. Foot soldier ones? Yeah. Greaves used by Stormveil soldiers and Stormveil knights. So coming up to the minor Erdtree, we have a bunch of demi-humans. And we're going to get an Erdtree avatar up here shortly. So we also have like the Erdtree Guardians here. The cool thing about these guys to me is when you look at their masks, they kind of are what the Flame Guardians are wearing on the mountaintops of the Giants at the Flame Garrison. So for whatever reason, people that were like pledged to the Erdtree were also pledged to like guard the flame, I guess, and that's essentially where the fire monks eventually sprang up from. So it seems like Marika's faction is also responsible for the creation of the fire monks, which might not be so readily apparent, I think. Hey, it's facing the minor Erdtree. It's cute. Okay. Hey Katie, welcome in. So we just went to Lanedell. We failed to find Bach for the second time, and I've just been kind of going through the Weeping Peninsula and getting good. So I might have to rethink this opinion, but because so many jars have been brought to the minor Erdtrees, my rationale for it for the longest time was that they were transporting like the meat and bones potentially of the dead in the jars to the Erdtrees, and for the ones that never made it to the Erdtrees to get like their souls sucked away, my thoughts were that the living jars just kind of spontaneously came into life, which might still be true, but as we've mentioned the past couple streams where it's been brought up, what did we get? Oh yeah, the talisman, right? No, it wouldn't have been the talisman. Oh, the cracked pot, right. The crackpot says it's a remnant of bygone research into eternal life. So it does make it sound like they were deliberately made. And I do know that there is the other, like, item that talks about the creator of the jars. Like, were the jars made to be created that way? But I took it as, like, a more, like, metaphorical creator that more than, like, an intentional one. Or incidental creator, but who knows? Alright, so let's kill this little guardian over here before dealing with the avatar spirit. Ah. Well, to cook, nice to see you again. Monks of some kind? What's my favorite area in the game? Yours is Altus Plateau. My favorite area, I do like Noxtella. So yeah, Noxtella for kind of like the lore and aesthetic reasons, and Stormveil for like actual level design. Like Stormveil is pretty hard to top. Oh yeah, don't need to actually fight these things the hard way. I've played the game enough times. I don't need to justify myself. Rip my little guys. I need to upgrade the weapon. Oh yeah, I definitely need to do that. Oh yeah, I should have tried to show off the sigil that thing uses when he does that. It's just like the ancient Erd tree symbol. Oh, you only hit torrent? He's breaking all these jars here. I didn't think that would hit me. Obviously it did. Why couldn't I roll away? Oh, torrent didn't even die. Failed to show it off. If I get got by that, I'm gonna be upset. Okay. He's cheating. What's Torrent's HP? I don't think I can see it. Okay. Getting that good Erdtree Avatar RNG. That GERD. Damn. Okay. I didn't expect that last hit to land. Enemy felled. Opaline Bubble Tier and the Crimson Burst Crystal Tier. So yeah, those guys pretty much always drop the tears or golden seeds, if I'm remembering correctly. And there is no like little plate here to pick up the tears because the avatar had it. Alright, so just wanted to just kind of talk about the lore of that minor Erdtree to come up here. I don't think there's anything too crazy in the catacombs below us. So let's go to the Frenzied Flame village. I don't think I can make it directly from here. Yeah, okay. Uh-oh. Cantrell, nice to see you again. Vacuous Zealot, what is Agartha? If you play the game enough, you can shamelessly use whatever you like. And enough is 0 seconds, for the record. You can do whatever you want. Don't let anybody bring you down. Because you're the best around. Narn Jesus, Gerd Tree. The Rotten Avatars. Hollow Earth? I'm not familiar with that, unfortunately. Like, the name sounds familiar, but I really have no idea what that's about. Alright, so let's just teleport back on this way. Oh yeah, I probably want to go up that first watchtower because I think there's something decent in the box. That's weird. Alright, let's go to Hugh and level up the weapon. Maybe Gideon will have, like, moved or can say something different now. I know that's still closed.
Oh, your divinity, have mercy and grant me forgiveness.
We showed that off yesterday.
You, is it? I didn't notice you there. I'll be doing my job, same as ever. Just lay out your arms.
Oh, so Agartha is meant to be, like, in the earth? Okay, I see. Oh, I thought I had enough. Okay. I was mistaken. But we can use Roderica. I think as soon as you use her 3 times, she has different dialogue. But I can't. Oh, small talk.
Greetings. Are you here for spirit? I feel like I'm really coming to grips with spirit tuning.
Oh, it's just once.
I can see how and why immortal essence exists. A spirit under the Golden Order. I can understand their yearnings. What they become drawn to. Master Hugh said it himself, actually. That I'm no mere apprentice any longer. Once again, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Roderica, the certified spirit tuner.
So I think Roderica's dialogue here is really important because it establishes that spirits have desires and yearning. And typically in FromSoft games, like, yearning is synonymous with willpower. So there might be a bit of a disconnect between willpower and yearning in this game more specifically, but I'm not entirely sure. And as I've mentioned before, like, the spells like Rancor Call talk about the curses, you know, essentially coming from negative emotions. So there is the bit of overlap there. So whether or not the spirit and mind and yearning / desire should be considered separate from, like, will is up for debate. I kind of feel like they shouldn't be, but there might be, like, some deeper mechanical constructions that we just don't really have, like, all of the details about yet. Do I think Hugh is related to Castle Morn at all? That's an interesting question. I never thought about him being related to Morn specifically. I know you're just asking that because there's, like, a decent amount of misbegotten there, or do you have, like, more of a reason for it? You yearn for the willpower to yearn. You would, rat. Alright, so Gideon.
We've spoken long enough.
Right, he just hasn't noticed that I killed Godric. Nefelli did, he did not. Oh wait, I think that one catacomb does have a death root though. Whatever. We'll figure it out. So I think after all that, our next point of action should be going to maybe see Alexander in the Gale Tunnel before going up to... No, let's go see Alexander in the Gale Tunnel. Then we can talk to Millicent and do some Caelid stuff before heading to Liurnia and Raya Lucaria. Or maybe I want to work that the other way around. I don't know. Could always just go to Liurnia early to get, like, Hoarfrost Stomp to show how broken that is for going into Caelid, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Bunch of demi-humans. I think there's a side of grace to the north-ish area. I should have probably, like, looked for the map fragment here. Okay, yeah, I'm a bit too far this way. If those things are there. Okay, that's that. There it is. And so our tower should be right there. What just got? Oh, the ballista. Because it's a watchtower. Okay. So for that one, we gotta like climb up the wall, I think. Forest Lookout Tower. Lady says, the misbegotten coveting the grafted blade, maybe Hugh forged it? That little room below the lift always made you imagine it as an abandoned workshop. Okay. I don't know, because like they are menial workers, and I guess Hugh kind of is too, with him like being a prisoner and all, but I could also imagine the misbegotten being in other places. And ballista and the ballista bolts. This is an especially large crossbow that uses specialized great bolts. Known as the weapon Tragoth the Horn used in the 3 successive castle sieges he carried out alone. It has the power to knock any common foe off their feet, but few possess the power to wield this device. Was this changed? I don't remember Tragoth actually being an item description. I actually want to look that up. Clo Reader, welcome in. What do I think about the Glowmide Queen being a twin of Marika or something, as twins run in families, and Marika is known to have 2 sets of twins, although not as Radigan? I almost feel like it's more likely for the Glowmide Queen to be Marika, as much as I dislike it, just because it doesn't make much sense for me for Marika to have been in control of the Elden Ring and the Golden Order to start upon the sealing of the Rune of Destined Death, which the Glowmide Queen allegedly had. So, unless Marika and the Glowmide Queen were working together, and I guess they were like twins, that could be possible. I just don't see that like really working out a lot of ways. So, I don't know if it's just like info that we don't have, and there is a completely separate Glowmide Queen. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, just especially with the way like FromSoft has retconned information in previous games, like with the doll in Bloodborne originally being based on Annalise, but it got changed to Maria with the DLC, or the way like in Dark Souls 3, Filianor was written in to be another child of of Gwyn. Too many G names. Someone else, welcome in. You think of Sinclair lore where you heard the theory that the Glowmide Queen was Godwin's twin? I don't know how I feel about that one. And then Vacuous asked, which group do I feel the most bad for in Elden Ring? I don't really feel bad for anybody. Maybe the Nox, because they got put underground, but Bach, I think, would be like the easiest answer. Alright, so hand ballista. Okay, yeah, the retail version doesn't just completely got rid of the stuff with the Tragoth. Interesting. I wonder why they took that out. Okay. Sorry, 1 second here. Okay. Cantrell says, you'd think a twin not mentioned would be bizarre. The original name would at least be there alongside being a child of Marika. I mean, I understand how you would feel that way, but FromSoft has definitely pulled a fast one on the fans before with that almost exact kind of scenario with Filianor being a child of Gwyn's. When, like, what's his face? Why am I blanking? Oh my god. Alright, I'm just having a really bad moment right now. So, our snake boy who, like, you know... I don't want to look at chat, because I feel like you guys have said it, and I want to remember it, because this is too embarrassing to have forgotten. Like, I haven't forgotten it, I just can't think of it. Like, only the name Godwin is coming into my mind right now. Anyway, okay. I don't even remember what I was saying before that. Oh yeah, so yeah, FromSoft has pulled a fast one on us before doing stuff just like that by adding in people that you wouldn't have expected. So there is no merchant here, that's what I thought. There isn't one in retail either, it just kind of looked like the campfire. So let's go to the catacombs. I thought there would be something really cool like down there between like the valley and whatnot, because there's like a bunch of like Fulgur Bloom and lightning coming down there. So I was really disappointed that nothing ever came out of like the lightning areas. Like I thought you would summon down like ancient dragons through them, but it just doesn't work that way. No, not Gwendolyn. Just seeing Gwyn's name alone was enough to jog the memory, because everybody's named some form of Gwyn in that game. Yeah. I don't remember why I was talking about Gwendolyn in the vein of, like, FromSoft pulling a fast one on us. Oh, yeah. No, so Gwendolyn was named the youngest child of Gwyn, and so they added in Filianor. And so she's not the youngest, but she's never mentioned between there being the Nameless King, Guinevere, and Gwendolyn. So that was definitely a fast one that they pulled on the fandom, in my opinion. Thank you, Rat. I really stopped paying attention. Okay. Let's go to the catacomb for real now. Oh yeah, and the one cave that I always forget about. I don't think there's anything important in it. But it was like one of the few areas where I like never actually explored the first time I went through the game looking for everything. So I missed it. No, I need to go higher, don't I? Yeah, I need to go further that way. Katie says, the weird thing about the Godskins is they have golden eyes, which means that they should have grace, and by extension they'd be at one point allied with the Erd Tree. I don't know how I feel about like the whole eyes denoting a person's like lineage. I mean, on one hand it makes sense, but sometimes the visual design can be a little bit messy. So we have some more spirit jellyfish coming out of like the catacombs. So yeah, the Erd Tree was there. I know I saw the thing a second ago. I just was wondering if there's anything else around there. Do I think there's any significance to the identities of the sculptor and painter? I don't really know. Wait, which painter are you talking about specifically? The one with like the landscapes, or a specific one? Because I don't think it's one painter with the landscape. I think it's more specifically multiple painters for the landscapes, and that's why there's like so many ghost boys that you see. Where's the key items? I guess they're not key items, they're like info? Yeah. So yeah, I would say that this is a different painting than that one, which I should go pick up that painting before I forget. I also, no, I didn't miss this door. It was a different catacomb where I missed it. Did I rest? Okay. So as to the sculptor's identity, I don't really know. I know Sinister Stromboli likes to think it's the original like ancestor of like the Shaded Castle Boys, because there's a bunch of statues in and around there specifically. The funny thing is, like, I walked in here because I'm like, oh, I think there's Death Root, where I could have just gone to, like, a rank and gotten the eye and just known immediately. Nightbot calling us out. One thing that I do appreciate about Elden Ring specifically is, like, we're not absolutely required to use fire or, like, holy weapons to defeat those who live in death, like in Dark Souls 1. America's obviously Valka. Yeah. Especially for all the people who, like, try to combine the universes. Yeah, I didn't think this was the kind of spot that would have the hidden wall. Did that revive, or is this a different guy? Thought I killed it. Yeah, one of the Murray family members could have been the sculptor. I don't think there's enough evidence to say that it is the case, and I also don't think there's enough evidence to argue against it, so I'm fine with it, I suppose. Oh yeah, so one of the funny things about these kind of traps are that you can use a bow or like a spell to disable them from a distance. Let's not use a sleeping arrow though. Oh yeah. Don't necessarily need to keep the torch on so much any longer now that we have the lantern. What if the sculptor is Radigan himself? That'd be an interesting skeleton in his closet. But yeah, you're probably right. I mean, Radigan definitely sculpted his abs, so he could probably be the sculptor as well. Radigan is a gentleman, so of course he'd be the sculptor. For the child sculpture in Liurnia and Castle Shaded, Castle Nicholas and Trina's previous life, but you don't know how popular God's reincarnating is? Katie, you're going to need to elaborate a little more for my streamer-addled brain. I don't need to be there anymore. Fringe Folk Rune. So the Grave Violets. If we already picked one of those up, I think I've talked about it. If not, I just probably talked about it on the fly. Okay. So I've mentioned this before on a previous stream that the Grave Violets in the retail build say that they are the hue of Ghost Flame. The Japanese description for it just says that they're the flower of Ghost Flame, which is a little bit unfortunate because while the Japanese doesn't discount the English translation, it does add a little bit more plausible deniability that the hue of Ghost Flame changed due to something else. Because I originally thought, because of the English description, that Ghost Flame was purple, and so I wondered if, like, the sealing of Destined Death altered the color of Ghost Flame as well, but that doesn't fully work out. And at least here in 1.00, we have an embodiment of hatred, a lasting stain upon the land. So the embodiment of hatred just kind of like gets connected to the concept of like spirits and hatred and ire that we've mentioned multiple times throughout this stream as well. That dump truck in the back, Jesus. Oh, why does Radigan spend his free time sculpting Buddha statues for the player to collect? Another thing is, how is he so good at making prosthetic arms? He likes to shape the gold. I feel like this one's been too straightforward. Although not all of the catacombs are like super crazy. Somewhere a heavy door opened. I think... No, I think this one's just the cemetery shade, which is still kind of tough. Either that, or it's like one or two of the watchdogs. Hopefully it's just the one variant, although I have a feeling like it might be the two. Let me just list every item in the, or every boss in the game real quick to cover my bases. You know, I'm good enough. Ludi said, you thought maybe Mikola could have been both the sculptor and the painter, but purely headcanon. Okay. Wait, I've never seen both my parents in the same room. How funny would it be if, like, Radigan was just on the backside of America? Alright, cemetery shade. It's not aggro yet. That's cool. Never mind, I take it back. So the cemetery shades are somethings possessed by like this big ass insect on the top of them. So it does have an attack where the insect can like come out and grab as well. So these things are really interesting, and there's like pretty much no reference to them whatsoever. I think there's like a mantis type dagger or weapon, but excuse me, it doesn't really say much about the shades either. I wonder if I can get a free backstab, if that's even possible. If this thing doesn't mind me crunching on all these bones. Okay. These things can inflict a ridiculous amount of bleed. And it can be really deadly. Because the bleed procs just go through shields like they don't even exist. So in like higher New Game Plus cycles, they can kind of like delete characters. Oh, Lutel! This is a good one that I went to. Okay. I thought there was a reason I wanted to come here. Yeah, so Lutel is a really cool summon for multiple reasons. I'm trying to remember where the normal Headless Boys Spirit Ashes are, but it's not too big a deal. So Lutel is our first kind of renowned spirit, which is why it's in its own category of like the Spirit Ashes. Spirit Ashes summons the spirit of a mausoleum elite knight from nearby a rebirth monument found throughout the land. Okay. That's summons the spirit of a mausoleum elite knight from nearby a rebirth monument found throughout the land. Okay. I thought I was having a moment. No, it's just expertly written. So, Tombsword Catacombs. And then let us go to the one cave down there. Oh, wait, no, I didn't need the map. I could have just looked the entire time. Okay, I'm silly. Demi-human forest ruins. We can skip that. Oh, yeah, I meant to go there. Okay, we'll do that after I pick up the other dagger thingy. Otter God's flames overall are connected to negative emotions? Yeah, kinda. Chloe Reader says, it is a bit funny that they made the youngest twins the gifted ones and made the middle twins a sort of archetypal middle children. I don't know about that, because Radon Yeah, Radahn. Sorry, I had to like go through the names in my head for a second.
Already. I'm new to this.
Radahn is a big boy in terms of like his overall presence in the story.
Safe.
Rykard is definitely like the quintessential redheaded stepchild of the family, though. Kim and Ronnie, to be honest. Although at least Ronnie's mom loved her. Nobody loved Rykard, it seems, except for Ronnie. All right. Frenzy Flame Village. Radigan on the backside of America? You can't believe that Miyazaki and Martin would copy Harry Potter like that? Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's a thing too. Yeah, all they have to do is like swish their hair from one direction to the next and it turns from like gold on one side to like red underneath it. I don't think I can get up here this way, can I? No. I should go this way. Altercated, welcome in. Your theory is that Rykard just needed a hug. You know, snakes give the best hugs, the closest ones. Oh yeah, and I never did go up there and deal with the alabaster guy. Right. New point of order. See, this is why I can't play these kinds of games so much on stream, because I have like one idea and I'm just always like, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, and then I explore everything that ever existed. And that's how I played it my first time through. So I probably explored like 95% of the game before I got to like New Game Plus. So we need the 3 wise beasts, right? We killed one. I don't know if that's going to stay over like the reset or not. Hopefully it does. Mortis would love to live in the Weeping Peninsula if the lands between weren't a wreck. I don't know if I'd see Ronnie as Savathun, but I could see what you mean, especially with like the resurrection stuff. So yeah, maybe. It just depends where they take Savathun next, I suppose. Someone else says, Ronnie decided to reject everything about the Golden Order. Rykard decided to merge with a snake and go crazy. Radahn being extremely pro-Golden Order seems like a cope somehow. See, I don't even know if Radahn is pro-Golden Order as much as he is pro-Godfrey. But to be fair, I guess like there isn't much reason to doubt his relationship with his dad. I don't see any other wise beasts, or maybe they're further out. There's a side of grace there. I think I already picked that one up. There's the turtle. You know how you keep saying you might have ADHD? No, I've never said that once. See, the issue with potentially having ADHD is like there's that video of the guy who like is forced to watch like a math video for 10 minutes and he just can't sit still. And then he's like showing like a Star Wars one or something for another 10 minutes and then he's just like completely enraptured and like motionless. The issue with me is I'm kind of just like interested in most things. So, yeah. Radahn and Godric attacked Leyndell. Did Radahn attack it as well? I don't remember. I feel like that doesn't fully line up because Radahn like goes after Godric. I thought it was like Godric, Godfroy, and Rykard. I would need to like double check that because I don't exactly remember off the top of my head though. Where's our last? Spirit Beast. See, this is the ADHD part, where I'm like, oh yeah, that exists, so let's go over there. So we got the Warming Stone, which is super cool lore. What if I like already got it somehow and it's just open? Did I get the one in the pond or the one behind the imp holding the book? So there's one behind the imp holding the book? So thanks, Mortis. Okay, I thought I got the one in the pond the other day and it looks like it did get saved. Oridus's Glintstone Rise. Auritus? I don't know. The goggles, they do nothing. So these rises are kind of interesting to me. They have some of the statues on them that you can find throughout Liurnia and Raya Lucaria. So these things specifically are kind of what I'm referring to. I call these like the primeval current statues because bruh, does that really extinguish the lantern as well using the telescope? I think it does. Yeah, I need glowstones. Let's see what I can craft. Script stone. Nope, that's not what I need. Glowstone. I don't have Dukist Herba. I need to go into the underground. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, alright, I'll leave the statue alone for a second and I'll read the Warming Stone. I already picked one up? Okay. A stone fragment blessed by the finger reader. Craftable item, blah blah blah. The entirety of the lands between were all one great holy land before the fracturing of the Elden Ring, according to the maidens of the finger reader. So that's a really big departure. It doesn't mention anything about the gentle rays of the sun like in the retail version. And really calls into question like what the lands between would have looked like before the shattering and whether or not like the what are they called? The Inquisitors, but I think it started with the C, like the Confessors. What the Confessors do in the churches outside the lands between, and whether or not those were like ever part of the lands between, and just like how everything is supposed to be connected. So, very interesting stuff in this version of the game here. Revisionist history. The absolute weirdest part of Teen Sis' new ADHD medication by far is they don't fidget nearly as much. That's the weird part. Yeah, I don't really fidget, and I've never really fidgeted too much. Do we know in which order the Karian children were born? No, unfortunately. It always felt like Rykard is the oldest, Ronnie's the middle child, and Radahn gives the youngest child vibes, but that's purely headcanon. Yeah, it's a bit weird because like Rykard definitely looks the oldest in his portraits, but everyone's kind of unaging, so... And we only ever really see depictions of Radahn when he's like mad, and the one portrait in Volcano Manor, which just kind of has him looking like a dude. But then again, like Rykard looking older may just be because he's seen with facial hair, whereas like Radahn doesn't have facial hair, and that could just be because he's like in the military. He's called like the general shogun. That I don't know. Someone else says, you don't think there's anything else in the game that says it, but you got the idea that Radahn was the oldest and Ronnie was the youngest somehow. Yeah, so everyone just kind of like inputs their own family dynamics onto like what they think the family should look like. you always imagine the rises popped up out of the ground. Yeah, the rises are interesting to me because they're in so many different locations. I take it to mean that like these are probably established by the Nox and or the astrologers, and because they're found on like literally every continent, that they like probably had some form of control over the world or were just like influential everywhere. Maybe not control. Control might be like too strong of a word. So let's check out our handy dandy memory stone. A pendant with a black rectangular stone inlay. It seems to emit a strange power. Increases magic attunement slots. So this one obviously says nothing about the moon of Noxtella and the black moon. So that was added in later. It's unfortunate I can't show this off a bit more, because I wanted to show off the statues, but we'll see tons of them in Liurnia. But anyway, what I was trying to say earlier, maybe we can like kind of see it, but not like super well, is the little like insignias or like symbols on the frocks or apron looking like things. I don't know what they're called. On these, the statue of these women's is the same symbol that appears on the robes of Lusat and Azur. And since those two study the primeval current specifically, I think it's pretty safe to say that this symbol is kind of probably representative of the older teachings of the Academy, because there is also a gigantic purple and gold banner in the debate parlor that has that symbol on it. Capenda says that they feel like Rykard and Ranni were close growing up. I think that's a pretty like fair assessment if Ranni believed she could rely on Rykard to deal with Malekith of all beings. What is a wizard without a tower? A wizard with a dungeon. A leech. Rykard's called Praetor, so he would also be in the military. No, Praetor, as far as I know, has to deal with the clergy. Maybe that's more of an English to Japanese thing. I don't remember. John Bailey Owen, welcome back. What a generic description. Yeah. That's a curdle? Okay. Sounds like a made-up word. Have I ever watched Hawkshaw's Color Theory of Elden Ring? No, I have not. For you, that puts a lot of the lore and environment into a new perspective. No, I actually haven't watched a lot of content for Elden Ring because I wanted to, like, keep myself out of the loop so I wasn't inadvertently taking other people's ideas or, like, having my ideas get inadvertently influenced by others. He already popped in. I was going to, like, try to show him off when he first came in, but I goofed. I guess I could exit out. Alright, once I kill the last guy over there, I will try to get the other one. Yeah, Malekith does look like a demi-human. Yeah, so I was actually thinking of potentially watching a lot of those videos that I haven't seen yet on the stream, like once I complete the playthrough, and just having like kind of my react be out there for the public record. I'm in some pretty close contact with like a lot of the other content creators, so I think I could probably swing that to see if they'd be okay with it. Because like I don't want to like get into any arguments or like have any misunderstandings over something which is just going to be like for fun. And there's also like the potential that their opinions may have changed on their own videos. So I probably like I want to try to get the okay to begin with. Oh yeah. Before trying to do that. So speaking of the Onyx Lords, which I guess I wasn't really speaking about them, but Onyx Lords, Alabaster Lords, whatever this one is, are obviously kind of like related to meteors and gravity magic. Sweet. I'm probably gonna die. Oh no, I lived. They have a lot of really cool attacks like that. And rather than bleeding red, they kind of bleed like a grayish silvery color. So I wonder if they're like one of the quote unquote like bloodless beings that's like referenced in like the strip of white flesh but they can bleed, which is kind of ironic if they're bloodless. So, okay, cool, his corpse doesn't disappear. I forgot that they don't do that in this one. If we look at these ones closely, I'm pretty sure this guy's onyx because he looks a little bit darker, but I've never paid enough attention to tell if like the alabasters are like a lot lighter in color. He might be like infused with silver, which would be kind of cool that like onyx could be related to silver and alabaster could be related to gold. And I think their swords might reflect that if I remember correctly, but I don't fully remember off the top of my head. So let me check up. Radahn seems to hold little grudge for the Golden Order and Radagon, so it feels like he would grow up with Radagon at least. Ward says, Smotown is the one who mostly talks about the other creator's theories when working on his own. Yeah, Smotown's really great. He's always been really kind to me and helpful. And I've probably watched more of his videos than like other creators. But even with that, I've only watched like a small amount of his stuff just because, like I said before, like I didn't want to get too influenced by others before like coming to terms with the lore for myself. But I'm at a comfortable enough point. Like once I like release, this stream, like a lot of my theories are going to be kind of out there for the public record. Whereas like I've been really keeping like a lot of stuff to myself, which is probably not great. But it's a little bit weird, like being a content creator, because there are people like, if you do consider like going and making anything public ever, you should expect some detractors. So you just kind of have to deal with things as they rise up. But nothing really too bad. It's just a little bit easier for me to like try to keep my head down. Oh yeah, there's the other catacomb over there. I'm not going to worry about that one though. Alright, so we shut off the Alabaster Lord, or Onyx Lord. Frenzy Flame Village, that's what it was. Thanks for staying in, Capenda. Ludi said, you love the idea of the color-changing gray violet thing, meddling with the components of fire causing change in the world. Do you know how many different types of fire there are in the game? So we do have the Frenzy Flame, the Ghost Flame, Destined Death Flame, Black Flame, Fire Giant Flame, potentially these like non-elemental flames. That kind of sounds really oxymoronic. So that's 6 right there. 7 would be like Spirit Flame that you can use on like the bows, like the arrows, I think, are a different kind of flame. 7. 8 would be the Mikola St. Trina Ghost Purple Flame. I guess not Ghost Flame, but like Purple Sleep Flame. So that's 7 or 8 that I can think of off the top of my head. Are there any other flames? Well, 9 if you count Smaragd's Glintstone Breath Flame. And potentially 10 if you count Exike's Scarlet Rot Breath. But I don't count that as flame, so I'll just say like 9. Oh yeah, and Gold Flame from the things like Zealot said, like the Erdtree Spirits and like Placidusax. So at least 10. Which is kind of crazy. So as we come up here into the Frenzy Flame Village, or Ailing Village, we get to see the dudes with the glowing fire eyes, and we pick up Sallow Embers instead of like... Wait, what is this? I'm trying to remember what this one is specifically. I was going to say like the Eye of Yellow, but that's different. This looks like a grape. An ember taken from the eye socket of a corpse ridden with chaos blight. Material used for crafting items. I'm trying to remember what this one is. Just yellow eye? Whatever. Katie said, they looked it up, and for the record, Praetor is either a commander of an army or an elected magistratus. Maybe it's different in Japanese. I'll look it up, just because I'm curious. And I also might just be misremembering. Okay. Maybe it's a little bit more ambiguous for that. This is the kind of thing where, like, I have to look things up in multiple languages and it, like, goes back to Roman. Oops. That's what I get for, like, resting the controller on me. And maybe I was just misunderstanding clerical duty, but it says in a temple. Anyway, okay, I'll probably like look that up and like look at like the Japanese Wikipedia entries for it, or like the Chinese ones sometimes, just to see if there's like a little bit more to go along with that. What is going on? Sorry, I broke my chat a little bit. Also, my stream looks super delayed. I am confused. Anyway, going back to chat. Oh yeah, Blood Flame was another one, so at least 11. You're hoping it's the same number of orbs on the Fire Giant's eye? Which, for what? Okay, John Bailey Owen put that in there as well. Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So yeah, coming back to the Ailing Village, we got our Frenzy Flame Boys and Royal Fruit. But pretty much my main reason for coming over here was just for like the church, because I want some more of them upgrades. I did show this off in like the gold and silver video that these things do regain HP. Oh, that's a different Madness looking thing, isn't it? Yeah, because it's like purple. Kalu Baptismal Font. So that's slightly different. I think this is just called like the Kalu Baptismal Church. Or Kalu Church? Baptismal Church? Something along those lines. The Flame of Frenzy. So these things have more reddish looking eyes in this version of the game than like the gold you may, or like the yellow that you'd expect from the other ones. So this is an incantation from the maddening Three Fingers. Causes the yellow flame of frenzy to burst forth from the caster's eyes. This incantation can drive human foes mad, and charging up makes it more powerful. Those whose eyes are afflicted with the flame of frenzy are racked with maddening pain and unstoppable tears. Oh, I know what I did. I accidentally like put my stream back somehow. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay. So anyway, it's fine for me. Okay, good enough. I don't think this is significantly different from the retail. I might be misremembering, but this doesn't really say a whole lot on its own. Oh, let me fix the chat up there. I see. That should be good enough. The Frenzy Rats don't have the Frenzied Flame eyes on this version. They are, but they just kind of look different, because even the villagers' eyes are a bit more noticeable at a distance. Like, you can kind of see them almost from, like, the back of their heads. Or not. Oh no, these guys are, like, all covered up. Yeah, so you can almost see them from, like, the back. And if you do have the Frenzy Stone, these guys will regain their HP. So I do kind of like how they included those kinds of mechanics. Now, one of the weirder things about that is, maybe I mentioned it on like one of the previous streams, that the Lanedell Soldier Boys on Mount Gelmir and similar kinds of enemies that have been going mad in the Frenzy Flame Village, they don't actually restore their HP from the Frenzy Flame stones. So they don't seem to be like true followers of the Frenzied Flame for whatever reason. So we did finally get our Eye of Yellow as well as that one shield. There should be another Side of Grace like right over here, I think. Further down. Oh, there it is. That's pretty much it for here. I thought there was like one other item over there, but I don't remember, and I'm not gonna like worry about it. Flame Crest Wooden Shield is a tall wooden shield marked with a flame crest. Go figure. The Eye of Yellow is a fruit that can be found on shrubs growing in cold regions or at high altitudes. And that's it. I don't know exactly why the village here started ailing. Whereas at least with like the Lanedell one, they're like kind of next to the Sauron Tower. But I guess even the Sauron Tower is kind of self-inflicted by the despair of the dudes there. Like, they're all, like, clutching their faces and sad. And when you kill the guys at the top, like, the manifestation of the Flame of Frenzy disappears. Which is really cool, I think. So I think that's pretty much everything left to do here that I wanted to. So we're going to go... Yeah, we'll skip that plan. Let's go to Liurnia. We'll talk to Hyetta in a couple locations. We'll go see EG, pick up the thing, and then go back, maybe? Whatever. Purple Mantis icon makes you think the Frenzy was purple at one point in development. You kind of wish it was purple because Purple Flame just looks cool. There's also other Purple Flame, so it's understandable why they changed it. Ponyboy, welcome back to the stream. Do you think the weird topography of the lands between is a result of the shattering? Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, the Mount Gelmir map description actually makes that, like, canon.
Hello? Is someone there? My name is Hyetta, and I'm journeying in search of the distant light. If I might be so bold as to ask, would you donate any Shabriri grapes in your possession to me? My eyesight has been weak since birth, you see. I can't tell which way I'm supposed to go next, but when I eat one of those grapes, I can feel a distant light in the back of my eyes. It will lead me to my true duty as a finger maiden.
So I'm not going to do that. I'll double check the grape description just to refresh our memories. The eyeball of one wrought with chaos sickness. This eye was incapable of completely housing the chaos flame. It resembles a large, ripened red grape, and if eaten with one's eyes closed, even tastes like a rare grape variety. So, they are kind of different in this version, but I don't really think that different. Obviously, like, they reworded, like, chaos sickness, but we were talking, and Crunchy brought up a good point yesterday that, like, since we feed Hyetta the grapes, there might be the kind of condition that adherents of the Chaos Flame might have to partake in cannibalism to some degree, because the folk on, like, Mount Gelmir are eating each other's corpses. We don't really see too much of that going on in the Ailing Village or the Frenzy Flame Village, as far as I'm aware, though. But at least for Hyetta, the more grapes we feed her, like, the more cannibalism she's kind of partaking in and becoming more at one with the flame.
Hello? Would you come on a pill when I eat one of... Oh, many thanks to you. Now I can feel the distant light once more. You are most kind indeed. May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
As you wish. As you wish. All right, so somebody had mentioned, I don't remember who, that, like, this version of Hyetta has on, like, the little shawl cape looking thing compared to Irina, who does not. So we can take a quick look at Hyetta and then compare her to Irina. It's pretty much the same model, same voice actors for sure.
You are most kind indeed. May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
And with Hyetta here, Irina's body is still where it is, and we can still examine it. The Flame of Frenzy is about consuming everything to unite it. Consuming in the literal sense, apparently. I do think it's unfortunate that we lost a lot of the stuff with the nomadic merchants and their relation to the Frenzy Flame. So Hyetta doesn't have on the cloak that... Sorry, Irina does not have on the cloak that Hyetta has on. So that is one small difference with the model, but everything else is pretty much the same. And she's dead. If Hyetta didn't give us, like, the Frenzy Flame seal, I would consider, like, killing her early just to show off that interaction. Why did I rest? I meant to teleport. Too fast travel. Katie said the ones in Liurnia may be mad because Vike spread his madness to them. I don't know. Although that's an interesting thought. Let's go see Topes. Unfortunately, like, he doesn't say anything about the Elven Orcs and their curse, despite this being the pre-patch version of the game.
You're tarnished, aren't you? Then perhaps you could spare some runes. Believe it or not, I studied glintstone sorceries at the Academy of Rea Lucaria. For a small donation, I'd be happy to share my knowledge.
10 runes. That's all this guy needs.
Well, I can't blame you, I suppose. But in the case that you do change your mind, just speak up loud and clear. Oh, there you are. Care to donate a few runes? Believe it or not, I studied glintstone sorceries at the Academy of Rea Lucaria. For a small donation, I'd be happy to share my knowledge. Well, but in the case that just...
Right.
Oh, care to donate a... Believe it or not, for us...
Just checking that he said the same thing. Okay.
Well, bless you, bless you. You're a true saint. My name is Topes. Presuming you're interested, I can teach you sorceries, as promised. Only, none of them are particularly great. Apologies, friend. I'm afraid my meager sorceries are no match for your generosity. Oh, right. I can tell you what I know about this place. That should help a bit. You've seen that structure to the north, towering over the water. That's the Academy of Rea Lucaria, where we study glintstone sorceries. only its doors have been closed for quite some time now. After they declared they wouldn't interfere with the shattering, the Academy cast repelling seals on the east gate leading to the capital, and the south gate leading here. As you might have guessed, the seals are still active, making entry to the Academy impossible without a glintstone key. And so I'm stuck here. A fledgling sorcerer with little chance of acquiring a key. When they cast the seals, I'd just popped out. And now I'm uprooted from my place of learning.
So Topsa gives us the most direct knowledge about Raya Lucaria in terms of like their participation in the world right now. They've closed themselves off, and I think like Muriel expands upon that a bit further. But in order to get into Raya Lucaria, he's the one's like, oh, you need a key and all that. But since we've already talked to Selin, we can broach the subject with him, and he'll tell us how he pretty much has a crush on her. It's a little bit more muted in English and a little more obvious in Japanese, but I think it's still pretty much there, to be honest.
You've taken an apprenticeship with Selin. Well, that is something. Selin was well known. The most promising sorceress in the history of the Academy. I followed her at school. But there may as well have been an ocean between us. But Selin was expelled from the Academy, accused of unthinkable treatment of certain sorcerers, under the name of the Graven Witch. I still don't believe the accusations. The illustrious Selin would never do such things.
So, like, the main difference between the Japanese and English there is, like, rather than illustrious, it's more like, I can't believe, like, such a cute girl would do such a thing. But, even still, like, you can still kind of get the vibes that Topes has a thing for her. Corporate Nothing, welcome back to the stream again. Vacuous says, Topes is tragic. He would have created a whole new type of magic. Yeah. It is a little bit weird to me that he just kind of ups and dies at the end of his quest, almost like he was hollow. Like, his will to carry on and get back to the Academy and create a new kind of magic is what sustained him. And then once he did it, he'd accomplished his goal and he just died? It's like he's in the wrong game, man. I don't know.
Why not find yourself a glintstone key? Without one, you can't pass through the Academy, and you'll never reach the Erdtree capital. And if you find an extra glintstone key, perhaps, once you've tied up all your loose ends, and I can be very patient, would you consider donating it to me? I know it. I'm a bluntstone. Nary a hint of talent for sorcery, but still, my place is at the Academy.
I do love the line where he says, I'm a Bluntstone. I think that's a fantastic localization. So I don't remember if he repeats himself or if he has like a little bit more to go with that.
Find yourself a glintstone key. Without one, you can't pass through the Academy, and you'll never reach the Erdtree capital.
Alright, so we can look at the other sorceries. I'm pretty sure we have this one. Maybe I'm misremembering. But a glintstone sorcery discovered at the Raya Lucaria Academy. The glintstone serves as a conduit, launching magical projectiles at foes. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly and while in motion. This is a universal first step on the journey to true knowledge of sorcery. Glintstone Arc is sorcery that's granted to sorcerers who set off from the Academy to travel in order to protect them against large groups of would-be adversaries. Fools often roam in packs. You know, we've definitely read that one. And Starlight creates a light that illuminates surroundings. I don't think I even have a staff to cast this stuff, but I should probably pick this one up at the very least, since I will be leveling a bit more of my intelligence. What's the requirements on this? 15.
Back to learn another? Why, of course.
So he doesn't have any other like small talk. I was hoping in this version of the game that he would talk about the Albinorics, but no, it's well and truly cut, unfortunately. And stones just bounce off of his thick skull. They reused Orbek's death, which is dumb, yeah. maybe there's a bit more to it, but it's really strange. Scowleezy, welcome into the stream. And my apologies that you're big dumb.
You,
Oh shit, I forgot he was here.
do you
I didn't even mean to do that, I was trying to mount.
Bok the demi-human? You helped me before and retrieved my sewing needle. Please, master, allow me to serve you as your seamster. I can't make nothing from scratch, but I'm happy to make adjustments to your garments.
Alright, to be honest, I don't even know why I went to the thing. I think it's just like a habit that I think of these as like save points, so I just mindlessly did that. That's kind of funny. Alright, I should be able to donate the int salesman or sacred tier to make him smarter. Trent says they gave him a study outside in the cemetery. You're guessing he wasn't popular. Now he doesn't even have like, oh yeah, in the Raya Lucaria. I know what you mean. Okay.
Master, I was wondering, do you ever make adjustments to your garb yourself? I would, well, rather you let me do the job when possible, please. I don't ask anything in return, you know, and, well, I am your personal seamster after all. I am your personal seamster after all.
So we can use him to alter our garments. That doesn't give you any extra text in most cases, if I remember correctly.
Oh, going so soon? Please do be safe on your journeys.
So that's Bach's next location. So the next time we can find him is like past the East Raya Lucarian gate. So we've talked to Topes and Bach, Hyetta. So we're doing pretty well so far. I want to go to the west first to pick up potentially like the astrologer set, or at least look at it. I meant to go level up. That's actually why I went that way. I wanted to level up that one for intelligence for Starlight. And so trekking through Liurnia is going to be a bit of a slog, just because there isn't a lot of a reason to go through everything super finely, since I've already done it before and I kind of know where things are. So if you guys have comments or questions that you want to talk about with the Lord, now is like as good a time as any, because there's going to be a bit of an extended gap navigating Liurnia. Well, where is the next thing? Oh. Should I pick that up first? Yeah, let's go pick up the map fragment first. Normally I just kind of ignore them, because I know the game fairly well enough that I don't feel like I need them. But since I am going through things in a bit more detail, I may as well. Wait, is that Patches? Does he even come here in retail? If so, I've never actually seen him. I've never come this way. Chat, you gotta let me know if Patches actually comes here. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel like really silly for releasing a video that has all of Patches' dialogue locations and not having this one. Liurnia sinking, yeah. You think he does in retail, but you could be wrong. Damn it. Okay. I know he has another spot, but...
Oh, well. It's been a long while. It's me.
Budge.
Patches the Untethered.
Oh, not this spot. Okay.
Still in business, if you can believe it. Now I'm my only supplier, so I haven't got much. But everything here is top notch. Patches Emporium. Now open in Raya Lucaria.
Yeah, he's only on the scenic island, as far as I know. So, like, seeing him here is different for me. Like, this is my first time ever seeing it. So, kind of cool.
By the way, have you met that girl, Raya? She's a strange one, but I believe she was in need of help. Not that it's any of my business, but if she rings your bell, why not lend her an ear?
Patches is Mortis's best friend.
You're making your way to the Erd Tree, no? Well, I heard something that might help. A special means of reaching your destination. Have you ever seen an Iron Virgin? So right, if you get caught in it on purpose, but long ago, they were endowed with a spell of transposition. And get this, a surviving virgin sits at the bottom of the big water wheel in the Academy of Rhea Lucaria. Its transpositional powers fully intact. So right, if you get caught in it on purpose, it'll chuck you out straight at the base of the Erd Tree. Or so I'm told.
Right, so his dialogue obviously got a little bit messed up there. It's really interesting seeing him say that the Iron Virgins were so right. But anyway.
Oh yeah, great story, isn't it? I'll tell you as many times as you like. There's a surviving Iron Virgin at the bottom of the big water wheel in the Academy of Rhea Lucaria. And I heard if you let yourself get caught in it, it'll chuck you out straight at the base of the Erd Tree.
Yeah, I think his inventory is the same. I never picked up Margit Shackle, and I don't have enough runes for that now. Go figure. We'll leave it be. Oh, you can pick up infinite feet from him? That's actually really good. Okay.
Stingy little beggar.
Oh, so he can say it.
In your heart next time, eh?
So he didn't say that line in the cave. Maybe he doesn't in retail either. So, I know the last time I played 1.0, he was not on the Scenic Isle, which kind of makes more sense now if his location was here. He still references Raya and everything else is mostly on the up and up in terms of like what he says now and in retail, except for that one time where like kind of screws up the Iron Virgin dialogue. So that was very interesting. Wait, why don't I just do this? I just forget that I can. Uh-oh, Nightbot got the Teen Sith for spamming symbols. For the periods? That's kind of ridiculous. Mortis thinks he's definitely working for Volcano Manor at this point, is trying to recruit you. That's a really good possibility, because he's trying to point us to Raya. Maybe he doesn't have the authority to bring in new members? I don't know. Oh cool, we're in Night Liurnia. So we could fight the Deathrite birds. Oh, I'm an idiot. There's a lot of dudes on that. Okay. Map Liurnia East. Okay, so I said that I would like hold off on reading some of the map descriptions. Now is probably one of the better times to do it, because we got some interesting ones. These are key items. So let's start with the Limgrave stuff. This is a map of the western region of Limgrave. The domain of Limgrave, far south of the Erd Tree, is bordered to the northwest by the cliffs of Stormvale, and under its ever-clouded skies roll the great steppes of the Pale Lands. I don't remember if that's different or not, but now when we go to the Weeping Peninsula, it's just the map of the Weeping Peninsula. Limgrave East is the map of the eastern region of Tenebrae. The domain of Tenebrae, far south of the capital, stands vigil before the vast sea of fog. Radiant's warning is yet told and retold, that one day the Tarnished led into war will cross the sea of fog and return for the Elden Ring. So that is hugely different for multiple reasons. Like, it talks about tenebrae, which I forgot to, like, look up what that actually means. Because that's, like, a Latin word. I should have looked it up. My fault. And then Radigan's warning is not in the retail version at all, as far as I'm aware. Tenebrae is Latin for darkness. Okay, that's what I thought. But I didn't want to, like, say the wrong thing. Because I was like, no, that's Noctis. But no, I think Tenebrae is darkness. Noctis being night, Tenebrae is darkness. Oh yeah, and Scalise asked a question a minute ago and I forgot to read it. Did Radigan actually do anything, or did he show up one day and marry Marika? So it's possible that Marika woke up one day and was like, hey, I want to be a dude, and then so she became Radigan. But to give a more serious answer, we don't really know that backstory up so much. Stella B, welcome back in. You showed up in time for patches. That's awesome. Why is Weeping Peninsula shaped like Cyrodiil from the Elder Scrolls? Because Skyrim belongs to the Nords. I don't know. Just a whole area named Darkness, yeah. Alright, so that one is a fun one, and if I remember correctly, so is this one. Map of Rienir's eastern region. So that's kind of a transcription difference between Liurnia and Rienir in terms of like how they can be pronounced in Japanese. So I wanted to show that one off at the very least, and now we will go talk to like the one isolated merchant that's like way over there or something like that. But I want to go actually like up the cliff a little bit. Good Japanese merging Eleanor. It's too late, Katie. I said Noctis is night. I actually myself, unless that's what you're making fun of. In which case, valid. Alright, so one of the things that really fascinates me about the lands between, and like these show up in many other places, is how we have cliff sides that are dotted with these kind of fairly large tombstones. It does make me wonder if like the lands between is kind of like a ball of dough that just kind of like got folded in on itself at times to kind of create these kinds of landscapes. Or whether or not it got like turned upside down or inside out, and if that could potentially relate to how the Carrion study hall can get flipped turned upside down as well. The Malefactor's Everjail. Oh, so this one's just you can activate it automatically. This is good. So one other cool thing, I guess I can't show it off from this angle, about these Everjails is when you look at the little symbols on them, they kind of form like a little spiral pattern. There we go. That kind of looks like a bullseye, and these are like made up of runes, which are not unlike the finger reader runes. But there's not very much information about the Everjails and or who created them. There's reason to believe that they could be created by the Nox because Ordina is kind of a Nox village, or at least it has like the similar architecture that's found in Nox places, and there's the Everjail there. So let's all go on in. Scal Easy says, other planets exist, right? Think a DLC where you go to one would be cool. You want to see a world ruled by something other than the Greater Will. I would definitely love that, especially when you have like the things like Estelle and the Falling Star Beast to consider. But I do think there would be other planets, but it's kind of hard to say with the cosmology of it. I'd be more open to the idea of there being more planets, or like, if so, let me rephrase that. I'd be more open to the idea that there wouldn't be other planets if like the moon in Liurnia wasn't like a copy paste image of the Earth moon. So I don't like that, like, the Earth's moon shows up in the lands betweens. But, yeah. Alright. Adon, Thief of Fire. Is this model different? I don't actually remember what this dude looks like. So this is a fire prelate without the little shawl on it. So it's using the altered version of the garb, which kind of makes sense because this dude like ran away from the fire monks. I didn't get to backstab. That's annoying. I should have figured it would have a lot of poise with that armor set on. But this guy isn't very difficult to deal with, so I'll probably get got for saying that. Oh, he can bleed me. Well, that's annoying. Man, I'm just trying to like backstab him, take advantage of their animation. Ironically, that did a lot less damage to me than their flail. Or is that a morning star? And the range on this is not the best. I think I lucked out there. The lands between is just future Europe. How could we have been so blind? I think I just need to like hit and run. That does not stagger him. No. He has so much health. Alright, if I don't kill him, I'm just gonna like leave him and just cheese it with Hoarfrost Stomp. Because I do not have my build set up right now to just kind of actually kill him. Oh, finally bled it. I was gonna say I'm lucky that didn't kill me, and then I got hit. Okay. Ludi asked, do I have any thoughts on the ripple blade kind of resembling a rune shape on the moon? No, I don't really have any thoughts on that. Let me pick up the runes. And rip my chances for fighting the Deathbirds. But it's probably for the best at this early of a level. Alright. Mikula seems to have a connection with the Nox since Dragonkin soldiers are summoned to defend the Halig Tree, and an Evergaol hides the path to the Halig Tree. So, if Ordina was a Nox settlement, that doesn't necessarily mean like Mikula made those Dragonkin soldier spirits appear there, but I guess that is also a possibility. Trying to remember if there's actually anything over here. What through that? Are there pygmy dudes over here? Yeah, okay. I don't even remember them being there. Alright. Scalisi said, you wish the Evergaol fight could have been repeatable? Yeah, I 100% agree. Not the current ones, like cool unique bosses. Yeah. Like the first time I found Godfroy, I thought that that could be like a boss rush mode type thing where you could just like fight bosses over and over, and that'd be a really cool way to also farm for like unique weapons. But alas, it was not to be. Trying to remember where the next site of grace was. Oh, this is too far. Not one there. Alright, I'll just go look for the merchant like I was originally trying to do. Didn't let me jump. Alright, KD, thank you for dropping by as always, and you have a good one. Peace. Oh, I almost forgot about Lieutenant as well. Right, no, that's where I originally jumped up towards. So is that merchant on the other side of the... the Albinork village? I don't think so. Okay, here he is. No, that's Patches. So, okay, they replaced that merchant with Patches. Or Patches with that merchant. For some reason, I thought it was further east when I saw Patches. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, for some reason I thought it was like over there. Let me think. Let's go see Lieutenant, then Hyetta, then EG. No, let's go face Hyetta first, then EG, then Lieutenant. I'm like all over the place on where I want to go, pathing this out. Do I have a favorite weapon class? To be honest, I do really kind of like colossal swords because it's just kind of cathartic being able to stun lock a lot of things. But they're not as effective as I would like. So I do like some... I don't really like a lot of the curved swords, to be honest. I just kind of like the overpowered factor of the Scavenger's curved swords. Because if you dual wield them, you can take advantage of them having implicit bleed on them. And like infuse them with a bunch of other stuff as well. How about you? What's everyone else's like favorite weapon types? Alright, there's Lucaria. I don't like going through that forest portion because it's kind of hard to see where you're going. Oh no. Alright, so if we're by the bridge, we should have our side of grace somewhere around here. That's the map thing. And the grace. Cipher Pata and Coded Sword. I only used them like briefly to see what the moveset was, but I never like took advantage of them enough to see how effective they actually were. The Claymore is pretty good. Dual Wield Falcons. Yeah, one thing that I kind of discovered was disgustingly broken on my playthrough, like in like my new game plus cycles, was being able to use two of the scavenger curved swords, having one imbued with ice in the left hand because that's the one that hits first, and then the other one doing blood stuff in the right. So that way you get the bleed proc first, sorry, the frost proc first, which will have an increased damage on the bleed. And you can stagger things kind of twice in quick succession, and it's pretty nasty. Silver pickled fowl-foot. Okay. I don't have any other extra Shibiri grapes right now. We should still be able to see Hyetta. Wait, is this the right part of the bridge? Should be. Where is she? Should be further down, right? No, she'd be over here next to this rock. Maybe I didn't finish everything with her? Alright, Hyetta is not there. Let me go back, just to be safe. Scowl Easy usually does themed runs around each weapon type, but Ultras Greatswords are your go-to. Yeah. That's kind of how I do it. Like, the whole reason why I even used the Scavenger's Curved Sword was because I saw the Raging Wolf guy use it on, like, one of the promo things. He also used the Twin Blade, which is kind of why I'm using that now. And he's also used the Claymore, or no, the Bastard Sword, one of the two, and a couple other weapons. And since I was kind of just matching up my footage to match up like the official promotional stuff. So I might need to... Oh no, she would be by the other place. I think I skipped a... Yeah, okay. No, I definitely skipped ahead. Okay, so I need to go to the other ruins, whatever they're called. I guess I could have come in from the north, but I think it's easier to just come up from the south. A little bit surprised I didn't take fall damage from that one specifically. Stake of America. Don't remember if there's anything super significant in some of these camps. Okay. Crafting. I didn't mean to go down, but it's all good. Let me get out of combat so I can look at my map. Spirits spring up. You think if they released a DLC that solely lets Muriel marry you to someone, you'd actually buy it? Poor Ronnie and her ending. There we go. Some good grace. Let's go visit the coffin. Oh yeah, I didn't talk to the finger reader coming up to Liurnia because we actually went through Stormvale instead of like me skipping it for once. So I'll probably want to show that off. A caravan troll is on the loose. So the road from Rea Lucaria to Castle Stormvale was broken. Damn, I thought I had iframes. Tree Spear. Oh, that's definitely different. Because I'm pretty sure it was just like a rando drop. But although I don't remember what was in this one before. The interesting thing about the caravan trolls, they have like the spikes going through the tombstones in their chest. Which is also kind of terrifying, really. It looks like these things kind of have thorns on them that I never really noticed. They're probably not like literal thorns, but probably just so the trolls can't pull them out, I guess? Or it just like sticks in them so they can continue pulling caravans? I don't know. So anyway, this is the highway that extends from Rea Lucaria to Castle Morn and Lanedell. And it just doesn't go around up the cliff. It is sorely in need of repairs in many places. Oh yeah, I actually need to read the Tree Spear. For whatever reason, in Liurnia, the Erdtree looks more incorporeal. It looks more yellow to me, like, and this could just be like a PS5 version thing, or it could be a 1.0 version thing. But you can actually look through the Erdtree and see the moon at times. We can't see the moon yet, but probably when we get to night, we might be able to. Still can't read the sword monuments at all. So now we can go down there and see Hyetta. We should still have the ghost guy that tells us about it, though. I'm stuck. Bruh. That was not part of my grand plan. That is one thing that I do lament about the jump attacks. Like, they just have terrible tracking sometimes. Rea Lucarian Helm. Sweet. So this is a helm used by Rea Lucaria Academy Knights. So I don't remember if that's actually called the Rea Lucarian one, but I don't remember if cuckoos are actually a thing in this. Shaggy dogs. Shaggy dogs are kind of annoying to deal with. Alright. Wait, where's our ghost boy? There he is. Okay. Come out one and all from the darkness underground, and let us offer unto the maiden our eyes. So this is kind of cool because this is a frenzy. I can't even walk through him. That's interesting. He's a frenzy boy, but he's dead and still has desires. Like, he hasn't completely gone mad, I guess. But it's interesting that the dead still want everything to get burned away, kind of. Bring Lucarian home. Let me pick up the item. Cuckoo Glintstone. Feels bad. This is not this one. I thought the dude looked where we needed to go. Although in retail, I'm pretty sure he's like groveling on the ground or not. Oh no, that's right. There's all this stuff covering it. He's like kind of crawling on the ground. He's not just standing up like that. We get the Faithful's Canvas Talisman and our Shabibi Grape. So let's check all that out. This is a talisman bearing an icon that depicts a group of masked figures. Raises potency of incantations. The figures represent the flock at prayer, their firm belief in the intangible, inspiring even the solitary founder of their religion. What is faith if not an affirmation? I don't really know what to make of that, to be honest. So I'll leave that there for now, and now we can go see Hyetta. It's a hopscotch and a throwaway, or hop, skip, and a throwaway. Hopscotch.
Hello? Is someone there? Would you donate any Shabiri grapes in your possession to me? I'm on a pilgrimage in search of the distant light, and when I eat one of those grapes, I can feel the light in the back of my eyes. You're not like the others who give me grapes, are you? They rest their trembling hands upon me. Howling wordlessly, they gently stroke my eyes, their frail fingers emaciated. Yet still, they give me the grapes, but you seem somehow firmer. You are most kind indeed. May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
So that's kind of really interesting what Hyetta says at the end there, like, let the blessing of the fingers be upon you. Because if she was Irina and got like corpse swapped or like body swapped with Hyetta or like possessed, she's still kind of fairly naive for the most part and seems to be very gullible. But then again, this might also just all be an act to have us let our guard down. I don't really know how I feel about that, though, to be honest. I do think there is a very high likelihood that Hyetta is being deceived by the light and whatnot and the words of the three fingers. Just because, like, when you find her in the Frenzy Flame prescription, she's literally just, like, lying in a pile of bones and skeletons, and that definitely seems like the up and up in terms of, like, who to believe in a faction. Saturn, welcome back to the stream. It's nice to see you again.
You are most kind.
Okay, so that's it for Hyetta here. So the next thing we would need to do is essentially go to Edgar's place. But okay, brilliant there. Probably just better off going straight across. Scowl says, the light could be very distant frenzy flame, kind of like the seeing the embers of the lords in DS3's ending. Yeah, that's kind of how I take it for the most part. That it's a reference to the flame of frenzy. And I just feel like she's being used to get at others. Laskiar Ruins. Oh yeah, there's also Vare and stuff to see. So these things are revenants. There's like one thing or two things that talk about them, but there's really not a lot there. I wondered if Ronnie's doll is meant to be modeled on the same kind of creature. Like if the snow crone was a revenant thing. I should probably like use waypoints more than I do. Okay, so we got a Helpin. That means a corpse will like walk to a catacombs. And we can follow it, and that'll give us a a renowned spirit. But we should have, what, the scenic isle here? These damn trees. This one is not the scenic isle. Huh, there's a tier here, but there's no Erd tree, minor Erd tree here. Just a bunch of Albinorix. So, as I've mentioned multiple times in like my shorts and like videos, Albinorix are called like silver people in Japanese. And I think that's essentially like why they bleed silver and look silver when you hit them. And I do think there's a very strong possibility that these guys could either be related to silver tears or mimic tears that the Nox were trying to use to like body swap and kind of like screwed everything up. So we got pretty fortunate and got the Ripple Blade, which is a pretty cool item. This unique weapon wielded by young Albinorix, unique weapon wielded by a young Albinorix. The sword is modeled after the ripples of a droplet hitting water, thought to be the origin of their species. So this is listed as hearsay, and nonetheless, I think if you want to compare Albinorix to Liquid, and with them being silver people, it'd make the most sense that they're like silver tears. That just, it seems to go hand in hand together. So that's a little thing. Where is Scenic Isle? Oh, I see. That's probably Scenic Isle, and I just don't have enough of the map cleared everywhere else. Because, like, Church of the Rose would be that way. But I can show off one of those, like, primeval current statue things that I was talking about. It's a lot more palatable being created by the people that hate you. Or that a lot more palatable than being created by the people that hate you. Oh no, I made a goof. I done woke up the lobsters. Run away, bruh. Liurnia is probably like my least favorite. No, I can't even say that because of the mountaintops. I was gonna say like least favorite place to like kind of re-explore. It's just very open. Oh, I'm at the church. I went too far. So there is a site of grace on this building, Rebel, that I did not notice in like over 300 hours of playing. And when I found it, I was just utterly confused. Because it's kind of close to the scenic isle as well. Damn, I guess the scenic isle is a lot further away than I thought. You can fight another death bird around here at night. And Raya as well. I mean, you don't fight Raya, obviously, but... We got the crystal bud. In Blackguard's place? Okay. Do I want to talk to him next? No. But honestly, I kind of even forgot that he was there. Okay, so this one's Scenic Isle, so I just had the wrong one to begin with. Oh yeah, because of the telescope. For some reason, I was confusing the telescope with the map thing from earlier. But that's a good indicator of like where to go. So that's the Rose Church, Scenic Isle. And then the Deathbird is not over here like I was saying, it's actually by the telescope. Alright, so now we saw Patches in a different location. That means he should not be here, because I also didn't see him here the last time I came through on 1.0. Oh, so this is the merchant. Okay. So it looks like they swapped those two positions. Get away from me, Dragonfly. Let's just rest.
You're new around here. Surprised you found me in my little nook. No matter, no matter. Your money's as good as anyone else's. Why don't you take a look at my wares? Oh, but don't ask me how I got my hands on them, eh?
So he has a lantern too. Oh, crystal darts. Oh, okay, he has a limited amount. He sells the Fanged Imp Ashes. That's interesting. I thought those ones are by the Ray Lucarian Gate guy, if I'm remembering. But the reason why I wanted to come to him is because he has the Astrologer hood in the retail version of the game on the other side. So I guess there's kind of a lot to go through with his stuff. Let's start with the Astrologer stuff. So this is hood fashioned from a thick yet supple cloth, garb of the artisans who polish prized glintstones. Having fallen in love with gemstones at some point, stonecrafters are ever in search of the finest possible specimens, meaning each and every one of them is also something of an explorer. So that's a really big departure from the retail build of the game, which says that astrologers are thought to be the descendants of glintstone sorcerers. Something along those lines, or they're said to be. And that's a little bit of a red herring that FromSoft put in, because the one Karian robe, I think it's the robe that says that like glintstone sorcerers are the descendant of astrologers, which is a fact that the Karians remain aware of. So that's kind of why I harp a lot on why I think it's important to keep in mind when certain item descriptions use hearsay with the it is said language, because it can allow for those kind of misdirections in the retail version of the astrologer's robe. Stella says, either you're remembering wrong, but isn't there a merchant in one of the other games who says roughly the same thing? In the same thing how? I forgot what this guy said.
Not everyone can tell how good my wares are.
I just, my takeaway of what he said a minute ago is that it was the same as retail. Alright, so the astrologer gloves are smooth, thin gloves made from cloth, garb of artisans who polish prized glintstones. The faint signs of wear and discoloration come from the handling and polishing of countless precious stones. This is hardware and gear suitable for journeys of exploration. So much more like nondescript in this version of the game. This is the Kite Shield, and it's a standard medium-sized metal shield. Metal shields are very reliable, negating all incoming physical damage when guarding. This has like a depiction of like a bird with a sword on it, but I don't remember if there's anything like really significant about that design. I don't really think it shows up anywhere else that I can remember. Stella said, money is as good as anyone else's. Don't ask me how we got this stuff. Oh yeah, they probably say something like that in Dark Souls 1? Right, anyway, Golden Bolt is bolt with its tip infused with holy power for use with the crossbow. This has the symbol of the like ancient Erd tree on it, like the simplified design of it. Meteor Bolt is unique bolt containing magic power, ammunition used with the Falling Star crossbow. Huh. That's different. Okay. That's not that big a deal. Rainbow Stone Arrow Fletched. A stock. Alright, not too much info there. Zweihander. Just about the largest sword a mere man is capable of swinging. As the name suggests, this weapon is designed to be wielded in both hands, but those of merely ordinary strength will still struggle to do so. The long blade is heavy and sharp, sending foes reeling back with its broader strokes, while also capable of a devastating piercing thrust. So, for those who don't know, Zweihander is German, with Zwei being two, and Hander being Hander. So, yeah. I know a lot of people say like Zweihander, but it's Zwei. Bastard Sword. A large sword with a straight blade. While this heavy sword is wielded with two hands with enough strength, it can be wielded with only one. The hefty blade can be swung into multiple foes at once thanks to the broad sweeping attack, making fending off crowds all the easier. Alright. I don't want to forget about these, so I'm going to buy this now. And that's pretty much all my runes. Okay. Armored Core is not post-apocalyptic, sort of. Scowlazy. Well, I guess it kind of is. It's post-an-apocalypse, but not like the apocalypse. Kuon. Is it also like 3D Dot Game Hero? Technically a FromSoft game? Alright, where are we going next? Probably to face Egger. Or Raya. Yeah, let's go see Raya, because I'll probably forget. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if that guy had a staff. Well, I can't buy anything now. Oh, it's night now. Okay. So, as is tradition with the Death Birds in this version of the game, they don't have any like boss music. And because we're at night, there is no like Liurnia night theme. Ooh. I should roll into him, not away. That's the grab attack. I dodged. Maybe I didn't have enough stamina. It was kind of low. Looked. I need a mash. Ooh, that's close. The funny thing is like how much time I took to get footage of these things actually death blighting me to death. For like 3 seconds of footage, because I had to like pretty much remove all of my armor, then like pause the game to put it back on so I wasn't completely naked. Because I had like enough vitality with armor on that it couldn't do the Death Blightable attack often enough to actually like kill me with Death Blight. I keep trying to spam the R2 ability to... Okay, I should have rolled inwards. I might die from that one. Rip. Most unfortunate. Adventures of Cookie and Cream. I've never heard of that one. Let's turn on the night again. and get some revenge. I do feel as though I am struggling with the twin blade. Yep, rolling in is the way to go for most big boys. I was afraid he was going to scream. Yep, these things do not bleed. There we go. Couldn't see it glowing. That kind of wasn't really worth it. It's mostly like a cool factor for me getting those critical attacks in. Which outer gods do I associate with the Deathbirds? I don't know, because it's a little bit weird because you have the mother of the Deathbirds, but she's not exactly stated to be anything other than the twin bird. But we don't know if that's related to an outer god at all. And like the weird thing is like the Deathbirds have like the big black groove going throughout their bodies, which might be indicative of like a destined death scar or something that you'd see like on the Black Knives. So with them also being able to inflict death blight, it would seem that they have a connection to Black Flame, or like the Flames of Destined Death. Black Flame is probably like the wrong answer because they use Ghost Flame. But I don't know if Ghost Flame and Destined Death's Flame were related at some point in like prehistory. Alright, I'm out of stamina. I should have dodged. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I gotta dodge off. Go figure. YOLO, 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 YOLO. YOLO too hard. Alright. Enough YOLOing. Let's actually finish it. The red feathered branch sword. So this text is pretty much exactly the same, with blue and defense replacing attack and red. But they do differ slightly in retail. But I don't remember the exact wording. It's very, very minor either way. Okay. Let me teleport over there. Oh yeah, the apocalyptic setting makes tons of lore and not have to show it. You want to see what Langdell or Yarnum was like in their golden ages? Yeah, that'd be really interesting. It's a FromSoft game for PS2, Adventures of Cookie and Cream? Okay. The god of evil chickens. It's the Zelda god. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was gonna go see Raya. And Blackguard. Let's save that for the beginning of next stream and just do the stuff with Edgar next. And then we could do Vare as well next time. So we'll do, what's his face? Edgar and Hyetta first. Although I do want to like unlock the tower area before the Erd Tree. Scowl asks, do I think there's one singular god of death out there somewhere, or should it be a force of nature these different cultures tap into? That's an interesting question. I feel like there's probably multiple things that make use of death's power, but I don't know if it could actually be monopolized. But I mean, I could be wrong about that, because like if it's actually supposed to be tied to a rune, it's kind of weird, because things still die but they kind of don't die anymore, I guess. But like we talked about earlier, there's so many different kinds of flame. I feel like death probably isn't too much different. Why are the lights flickering? Maybe that's just like a visual thing. Proselyte's Tower. I think this is just called like Converted Tower. Erudition Guide Thee, so that still exists for this. Okay. I don't have erudition yet, but I also don't have a staff yet, do I? Yeah, no, I don't have a staff. Cuckoo Glintstone. I might just use a warming stone to show this off. Yeah, because I don't really use these anyway. So, for the extra lighting. Oh, this doesn't actually light up anything in this version of the game. I need to look at the statues outside. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, anyway, one of the reasons why this structure fascinates me is because it's called like the Converted Fringe Tower. There's like 2 of them in Liurnia, and they have statues of Marika placed within them, which shows that like Marika's religion is not native to whoever, like whatever culture created those structures, which I think is most likely the Nox or the astrologers, just because of like the black memory stones being related to the Black Moon of Noxtella, and just kind of the overall design of those buildings. Could be different facets of the same thing. It's not like there aren't characters that aren't all the same person already. Yeah, and Elden Ring is like a lot worse about that by having Marika and Radigan actually be one. So now, what would be like a crazy conspiracy theory for another game in terms of like trying to say like, oh, Velka is this or that. Like there's kind of a bit more legitimacy with the way that Elden Ring handles things. It's just kind of tough to deal with. Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, why is there just a random dead misbegotten? Because somebody got revenge. So yeah, we saw Irina's corpse have the iron cleaver next to it, which is used by the maltreated misbegotten. And as we come up to the Revenger's Shack, there's going to be a couple of misbegotten corpses. I think they all disappear once you do the stuff with Edgar, or if you like come here before him. But okay, let's talk to the ghost. The poor fellow, gone perfectly mad. Love, revenge, the frenzied flame melts it all away. So that's some really cool stuff. It shows like the ghosts want to get rid of their emotions. They like no longer want to be born and feel anything and suffer. So this is kind of like one of the ghosts that I used for my justification of like the Frenzy Flame ending April Fool's video I made. And for those who are like, oh, this guy is only speaking the truth. Sort of, yes. I did only like say as much truthful things that I could in that video. But I also purposely like didn't give the full context of everything, which is kind of how I feel the Frenzy Flame cult section or sect, whatever you want to call them, how they operate. Like, they'll tell you whatever's most convenient to them, and they don't need you to understand like the full context of everything. So, with that being said, we'll go face Edgar in a minute, but now we are at the perfect angle to see the moon go through the Erd tree, which I'd mentioned before. Actually, it looks more solid. What? Until I pulled out the telescope. So maybe it's a visual glitch, but to be fair, like, you're not going to be able to see the moon. You're not going to be able to see the Erd tree in front of the moon in any other location because of just like the way they are. And there's only one moon now because, yeah, there's typically only one moon. But even in this version of the game, you can see two on top of the moonlight altar. Five characters in Umineko are named the same thing. Jeez. I definitely struggled with like Dark Souls 1, and I definitely struggled with Elden Ring for a while because there's so many similar names. So, got these corpses of the misbegotten. Edgar might kill me, to be fair. So we get the quintessential dismounting of an invader. And if you come here before doing the stuff with Edgar and Irina / Hyetta, there are no like corpses here that have rewards items on them. So he can still use the Erd Tree stuff, which I forgot about, which is cool. He doesn't seem to use any of the Dragon Communion incantations of the other Banished Knights, though. Because he's a weak-ass, like, NPC guy, instead of a real Banished Knight, he doesn't have, like, the cool wind stuff coming off of his spiral attacks. So yeah, he pretty much two-shot me. I wasn't at full health to begin with, but still. He should be spawning in soon. So these guys are all defeated. Trying to take advantage of the hit and run and the bleed procs. I didn't realize Wrath of Gold actually did damage. That's pretty good. If I bleed him, okay, sweet. Shabriri Grape, Banished Knight Halberd +8, Raw Meat Dumpling. So this does confirm that he had the dumplings on his body, and there's a shack filled with them as well, which kind of goes back into like my theories of the frenzied flame or people like going insane being related to cannibalism, which will be a little bit more apparent once we read the dumpling description. The meat of an accursed pounded into a viscous pulp while still alive. It is seasoned with only salt and partly rotten. Consuming this will restore HP while also poisoning the user. So, I don't know exactly what's in the meat dumpling. Like, looks like there's like specks of yellow stuff. I have no idea what that is. And Nightbot is losing its mind, telling me to hydrate. So that's it with Edgar for now. We got our Shabriri Grape, so we can go visit Hyetta in her next location, which will be further north than where she was by the Purified Ruins. So yep, we can see her by that rock like I thought. We get the best dialogue in the game here.
Hello? Is someone there? Would you donate any Shabiri grapes in your possession to me? I'm on a pilgrimage in search of the distant light, and when I eat one of those grapes, I can feel the light in the back of my eyes.
So nothing happens? Okay.
Would you want one? Oh, many thanks to you. Now I can feel the distant light once more. That aside, I wonder what Shabiri grapes really are. Delectably tender and sweet, yet searing. What a sight they must be to behold.
I think you can just repeat, like you can talk to her again and tell her, so I'm going to try that. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
What are Shabiri grapes? Delectably tender and sweet, yet searing. What a sight they must be to behold.
They're human eyes.
No. That's not possible. Not all of those people. Their own... So those noises I heard were... Sorry. I'm alright now. Don't mind me. I apologize. You only did as I asked. I'll be fine. Think no more of it.
As you walk away from her, she will continue to talk. This is like the funniest quest I think like Frem has introduced, to be honest.
I apologize. I'll
So
be
yeah,
fine.
the dialogue there is the same, but once you rest, she'll have more to say. Or she moves to the next area. Okay.
Is that you over there? I've gleaned something very important indeed, thanks to you. The reason why it was eyes I had to eat. The distant light is far and frail, so faint it can't be seen by the naked eye. But with everyone's eyes together, it appears. Finally, it all makes sense.
Is that
I'm
different?
certain now. I will be a finger maiden.
I'm gonna want to double check that, because I actually don't remember if she says it like that.
I've gleaned something very important indeed, thanks to you. I'm certain now. I will be a finger maiden. I've gleaned something very...
Alright, yeah, I want to double check that on my footage, but one of the other fascinating things about, like, Hyetta being sure she'll become a finger reader is, I believe it's the fingerprint shield says that the three fingers are, like, the readerless fingers. So she's kind of destined to be doomed at the start, I think, because the three fingers doesn't actually even really want a finger maiden. I think it's just trying to manipulate whoever it can to get a hold onto the Elden Ring. So with that being said, we have been streaming for 3 hours now. We're at a pretty good stopping point for now because like Liurnia is so spread apart. I'm gonna go teleport over by the Scenic Isle because that'll remind me to go see Araya and then her Blackguard guy, and then we can go visit Varia on the next stream, and then go visit Hyetta as well before seeing EG, and then Lieutenant. So there's going to be a lot of NPC stuff to deal with next time. So for all of you who have joined in so far, watched, lurked, commented, I appreciate it. Hope you have a good one wherever you are, and hopefully you'll join us next time when we go live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Thank you once again. Have a good night, and see you on the next stream. Last Protagonist out.